We've started our third season in the NFL with a record of 4-2, but we have yet to take on a division rival as we've really been too busy taking on the entire AFC North here to start with our little gauntlet that we completed last episode. But it's about time that we take a look at some foes in our division, starting off here with the Dolphins today, who also have a record of 4-2 and also have a very explosive offense. We've been spending the last few episodes going against really good offenses led by incredible quarterbacks with Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow the last two episodes. This offense also very explosive, maybe a little bit different, as I think when you think of the Dolphins offense, you think more about their speed at wide receiver than you do, Tua himself. Whereas maybe with the Bengals and the Ravens, you think of the quarterback first. And this should be, a unique challenge for us. Not quite like those last two games, just because there is nobody else in the league that has quite the speed of the Miami Dolphins. And we know how important speed plays in Madden. And so they're one of the tougher guards in the entire game. And defensively, they're not too shabby either. They got a couple guys here along the line that are good. Jalen Phillips, certainly one of them. Here up to 85 finesse moves, 85 overall. Here in his age 26 season. You got Jerome Baker, Bradley Chubb still kicking it. And of course, Jalen Ramsey, still at the age of 30. One of the best in the business at keeping guys covered and making you pay for targeting him. So we got to be careful doing that today. Javon Holland, really nice zone safety still with this team. Not going to be an easy matchup here today. How do we defend them? Honestly, I think they're pretty tough to defend in general. We'll try to keep Tua off his short rhythm game. And then we'll try to maybe hit them deep if we can. Another little exciting piece of news. We've unlocked all 6 focus training spots here. And we also have a breakout scenario for stud Trenton Simpson. That trade has certainly worked out for us to start his first season with the squad. He's made a lot of plays, including a game-sealing pick 6 just last episode. Earned him this breakout. Would love to see him get superstar dev. That would make our offseason trade look even better than it did at the time. And that was a trade at the time I was certainly excited about. We'll be on the road here for this game in Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. And man, I do love these Dolphins uniforms. And I'm excited for this defensive test. One thing that you'll notice in this game is that I have reduced the quarter amount by 1 minute. I was just kind of looking at where our team ranked in certain categories, and our defense was ranked lower than I think it should be. And a part of that could be due to us playing with a lot of leads this year, so teams, getting a lot of garbage time stats. But also it could be due a little bit to quarter lengths being too much. So we're lopping it down 1 minute to 12, and we'll try it out for the rest of the season to see if we like it. As Devon Achane gets things going with a pickup of 3. The other side benefit of reducing the quarters is it'll make the episodes just a little bit shorter, as the episodes have tend to be longer than average with this series than in my previous ones. Partially, I do that because I like to watch every play from scrimmage in these games and show them in the episodes. I could certainly edit them down even more, but I really like the pace of play and the pace of commentary with these full games. As we got a 3rd and 7 for Tua. He has time, but he ends up just running right into the arms of Josh Uche, who picks up the 3rd down sack. He's certainly been having a good year in his contract year and has already earned that extension. And we'll see Kevin Blatchford come out onto the field for the first time. 15 touchdowns to 1 interception on the season. He has been elite in year 2. We're going back to kind of the video format conversation. It is nice to maybe reduce the amount of time on the videos. Another way I could do that is just to edit out some of these kind of inconsequential plays, maybe like this one just here on first down, where it falls incomplete. But again, I like seeing the complete story of the game, and it also saves me a ton of time in editing, whereas my 2K series, those basketball games, they take forever to edit. So it's nice to be able to come and edit a Madden video and it take, honestly, less than half the time. It's a good, nice break from me. I love being a YouTuber, for sure. I love pretty much everything about it. The one thing I don't like is video editing. Oh man, it takes so much time. But not in this series. We're going to start with a 3 and out, not exactly the way you want to start against the Dolphins. Tua, back to pass to start this next Dolphins drive, and he's got Waddle on the inbreaker. Gain of 16. Nice play for the Dolphins to start this drive with some momentum. Tua back to pass again. Jalen Carter just swallows him whole, overpowering Robert Hunt at that right guard spot. HN tried to help, but didn't end up making much of a difference at all. Loss of 6 on the sack. Brings up 2nd and 16. Tua towards the sideline. That one's broken up. Demir Hale. Been one of our best draft picks in this series so far. What was he, a 5th or a 6th? And he has started from day one. Wasn't my plan at the time, but he just had a really solid preseason his rookie year. As Blackman lays a hit on Waddle over the middle, and our defense gets another stop. Bijan gets a carry here. That's a nice run. Juking at one man, getting past another, down to the 37-yard line. I'll never get tired of watching Bijan run the ball. Bringing out 3 tight ends here. I don't know why these Madden playbooks love to bring out the 3 tight ends all the time. Bijan getting trapped behind one of those tight ends. Maybe if there were only 2 there, he could have gotten to the edge. I'm just saying. I would love to compare Madden's usage of 13 personnel versus the NFL's usage. I'm sure Madden would come out quite ahead in that category. Baker having a pretty solid start there in the middle of the field for the Dolphins. Already forced a couple of incompletions here. And we've got 3rd and 12. Going screen with Bijan. Nice block there. We'll spring him forward. Brandon Scherf with the key block. And then Bijan just kind of waited patiently for the other blockers to get him past the line to gain. 12 yards total on the play. Puts us at the 48-yard line. Slant for Monte Babber, making his first reception today. He is currently the leading receiver on the team, and even after I took him and found out he was hidden dev, I certainly didn't expect that. I think he's been the leading receiver every single time we've had a simulated game so far. Maybe there was one where he wasn't, but he's productive when we watch, but he's even more so when we sim. And it's been awesome to see him do so well to start his career. Babber gets driven to the ground on this short completion. So far, perfectly balanced. 5 passes, 5 runs. I wish we had more games where we would run the ball a little bit more. Here, another short completion for Babber. Kevin Blatchford getting the ball out of his hands really quickly so far today. Now has his X Factor activated. We'll see if he can take advantage of it. Over the middle, that one is incomplete, targeting Babber once again. He's been Blatchford's favorite target here in the first quarter. Pull back into the game on 2nd down. It's play action. Another short throw by Blatchford. He continues to try to march us bit by bit down the field, and now we've got 3rd down. From the gun, Bijan lines up to Blatchford's left. The screen again worked last time on 3rd down. Bijan this time, though, can't really find any holes to run through. Unfortunately, forward momentum would hurt him there, and we would settle for 3 on the drive. Another thing I'm going to do to slightly try to reduce video time here is If it's a chip shot field goal, you guys don't really need to see it. I'll still try to show field goals of like 50 plus yards, or if it's a miss, of course, I'll always show it as well. But when a field goal kicker makes a chippy, I don't know if we need to always watch it. Tua. To Tyreek, but Kenya Gibson was all over that one. Nice coverage from the rookie. It's been, a lot of ups and downs. It feels like Kenya Gibson's either making great plays or getting beat. I don't know if there's just been a solid, quiet game from Gibson. He's always getting targeted, and sometimes he's making awesome plays on the ball. Sometimes he's giving it up. But he has certainly been heavily targeted in his first 6 career games. Achane, he's getting swallowed up by Jalen Carter. On 3rd down, that's going to bring up 4th once more. From the 33, this will be a 49-yarder. Again, still going to show the longer ones because those have at least some chance of missing, but not going to be the case for Miami as they tie this one up. Bijan trucking past the tackler there to gain 5. Already 5 carries in this game, and there for 35 yards as well. I'm liking the game plan to start. Just got to finish off some drives here, and I think we'll be solid as that one's going to go for no gain to start the second quarter. Third down and 5. 3 receivers on the left. Going for Bijan, but it was just out in front. I mean, if you hit a running back in stride there on that Texas route, that could have been big. All he would have needed to do was probably break a dive tackle. That could have been a massive play, but he was just slightly out in front. And here, Tyreek Hill returning punts. Seems a bit unfair. In real life, the Dolphins would only ever do that in a high leverage situation. He wouldn't be their main punt returner. But here in Madden, nope, full-time punt returner, which is just insane. So Miami going to start this drive at midfield after a 20-yard Tyreek Hill return. Flag on the play as Tua throws out of bounds. It's going to be a hold. So the field position going to get a little bit worse here for the Dolphins, which we really needed. They were just about a first down away from field goal range already to start the drive. Tua now. He's going deep, lofting it to Tyreek Hill, who hauls it in. He beats his man. Just so much speed, like I previewed in the beginning of the episode. Speed always kills in Madden, and it does so here on 1st and 20. Now on the other sideline, Kelvin Joseph gets beat by a man whose last name is Bailey. I have no idea who that is. I'm sure it's somebody they've drafted here in the series. But I mean, he just scorched Kelvin Joseph off the line. A fullback dive's going nowhere. Who are they going to give that TFL to? It looks like Buddy Johnson. I was hoping they would give it to our guy Trenton Simpson, who is, of course, in a breakout scenario. I only talked about it briefly, but that is a pretty big scenario for us. If he gets superstar dev, that totally changes how you feel about him. Right now, you feel like he's your best linebacker, solid, but upgradable. If he goes to superstar, that's your linebacker of the future. Touchdown Miami as Tua finds his man. Left a little bit too clean here in the red zone. You got to get to him quick, or else he will find the open receiver, and Miami, the first to get into the end zone today. Rookie defensive tackle Jose Gonzalez shaking up on that one. He might be in his 2nd year, I can't remember, but he was a very high-end defensive tackle prospect coming out of the draft. Tackle there in the flats will bring up 3rd and 4 for Memphis. Trips receivers on the right. Quick throw to Bijan. He trucks forward near the line to gain, but they're not going to give it to him. You got to go for it here. Please go for it here. They won't. Those lines are on top of each other. That's a 1st down. Look where that ball is placed on that punt. It's past the line. Oh, we got screwed there. Tua over the middle for Tyreek to start this next drive. I mean, that red and blue, those red and blue lines were on top of each other. They were making purple. Is that what red and blue makes? Purple? That is, right? That was a purple line, man. That was a first down. I don't know how. That got credited as 4th and inches. Tua as his young tight end Spellman for a gain of 7. Tight end really hurt us last week. But that was only Spellman's first reception. I mean, he's a better tight end than the one we were facing last week. Tua finds him for a second consecutive play, though I shouldn't have started to talk. Now Spellman's going to go off for 10 catches. Under 6 minutes left here in the second quarter. Tua hands off to Achane. He's sifting through some blocks, gaining 4 on the run. The Dolphins have arrived in Thunderbird territory. Motioning for a shift that puts Tyreek Hill at tight ends, which the Dolphins have actually done. Had, Tyreek line up in a 3-point stance before, usually to motion him out, but it looks really funny seeing Tyreek line up in a 3-point stance. Tua trying to evade. He does get the throw off on 3rd down, but the pressure from Josh Uche will force a punt. And if we're showing a punt, something impactful is about to happen. Last time it was a 20-yard return. This time it's going to be roughing the punter. No! We stopped them just out of field goal range, and you're going to rough the flipping punter? Ridiculous. Now the Dolphins are in scoring range. Tua going underneath for Bailey, who had that big catch earlier. All the way down to the 18 now. This is all happening because we decided to rough a punter. Tua, another first down, another one to Bailey. Said I didn't know who he was. I better learn because he is cooking us right now. From the 5, Tua into the flat, and that's Tyreek Hill for another touchdown. Dolphins now on top, 17-3. You can't make a mistake like that against a good team like the Dolphins because they're always going to make you pay. Good teams make you pay for your unforced mistakes. That's just how it goes. Now, instead of getting the ball back with a chance to tie, we've got to score a touchdown just to get us back in this one before half. I mean, not that I wouldn't take a field goal, but I'd obviously prefer the touchdown. Deep to the sideline. That was kind of the first time we've seen Blatchford try to air it out today. He's going underneath quite a lot, despite the game plan being literally to throw it deep. We had to get to 246 in the first half. I think that's the first time Blatchford threw a pass more than 10 yards down the field, and he just has not been sharp today at all. Missing Bijan on that 3rd down. Wouldn't have gained the first anyway unless he broke that tackle. Glenn Bush there on that tackle after a gain of 2. Another mid-round rookie that has impressed early on in his career. That's going to be for a loss. All of our linebackers kind of joining together to get the stop. 3rd and 11. Uche gets to Tua again. Having himself quite the day with Teron Armstead being injured for Miami. Another just simple check down for Blatchford. Can we see our stud quarterback air the ball out a little bit here? Underneath again. This time it gains 3 more. He's completed 11 passes for 54 yards. It's the first time we've seen Gabe Davis today, who had 2 consecutive episodes of being really awesome. Williamson there with by far our biggest reception today. Brings us to the 49. We still have a chance here to score a touchdown. Deep for Davis, and he hauled it in. There we go. Blatchford's, I feel like, at his best when he's hitting that intermediate 10 to 20 yard area. Maybe a little bit further than that, but I really like when he attacks that level of the field. I know I could have chose, throw it medium to highlight that even more, but I thought maybe deep could be the way. But so far, I haven't loved the throw selection on this throw it deep game plan. Down to 11 seconds left. We have one timeout. I guess we're just going to try to gain a few more yards. Or are we just... Nope, we are going to run a play. And it's picked. Oh my gosh. First we decided to settle for 3 rather than being aggressive and going for the touchdown. Then we get 0 because Blatchford, who's been throwing 3-yard throws all game long, finally gets punished for it. When you throw it all game long, they're gonna adjust. Starting the second half with the Bijan run. That gains nothing. It was like 5-5, wasn't it? Run to pass earlier, and now it's 21-9. Here's a run to Javier Hendricks, something we rarely see. That little stretch run to the Keaton Mitchell / Javier Hendricks, it never works, man. Okay, I can't say never. I remember one Keaton Mitchell run that was really good from that play. But otherwise, it always loses yards. It's insane how bad that run play is. And we go 3 and out to start the second half. Oh my goodness. This offense has been awful. Play action for Tua to start the half for the Dolphins. He throws it out of bounds. I mean, with how good our offense has looked the last couple of episodes, I'm truly shocked with how much we've been shut down by what is ultimately a pretty good Dolphins defense, but I wouldn't call it elite by any means, especially considering what we did to, say, the Bengals, not the Bengals. The Bengals have a solid defense as well, but the Ravens, I think, have one of the best in the entire league, and we tore them up. This is not the same offense we're seeing here today. No, part of it's probably that throw deep game plan, but I've used it before and it hasn't looked this bad. There's that Bailey guy again. Another big gain for the Dolphins. I mean, say you don't know who a guy is and he starts to torch you. But like that one Shaq meme where he has to apologize to somebody in the NBA. Ironically, I don't know who he was talking about. I don't know his name. But, we had to apologize for not knowing somebody's name. Well, I apologize to Bailey. Never gonna forget you now, buddy. Tua going deep, and he has Bailey again. Who is this guy? Goodness. Just tearing us a new one in this game, and that catch was the best of all. Contested situation. I think that's going to be a TFL for Trenton Simpson. The fact that they're showing him after the play, I think, gives you hope for that. Might be a second, but it's the first that I can recall, so he needs one more here in the second half. TFL, sack, interception, any of it. Underneath for a first down. First and goal at the 1. This would put us down 3 touchdowns here. Achane gets chased from behind in a nice rally to the ball. Starting with Mac Wilson. One of the few day 1 defenders still on the squad. From the 3 now. That one is for a loss again. And they're showing Simpson again. Are they going to give that to him? If so, that's 2. And a superstar development for the young middle linebacker. I don't think he was the first one there, though, so I doubt they actually give it to him. That's a fumble! And it's picked up by Glenn Bush, the rookie. This would be an absolutely massive stop for the defense, should it stand. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. No, he was definitely still up when that ball came out. Strip sack by Josh Uche, who's had a massive day. And then Glenn Bush falling on top of it. But now our offense has to travel 96 yards. And we've barely been able to travel 20 today. That's a big hole for Bijan, though. Good start. Averaging over 5 yards a carry on his 9 attempts. But we just refused to give him any volume. Here we give him a second straight rush. Good rally by the Dolphins. I feel like he's averaging 5 and it's 10 and then 1 and then 10 and then 1. He's not getting a lot of gains of actual 5 yards. Latchford. He's loading up and going deep. Monte Babber has a step, but it was just a little bit behind him. I mean, Jalen Ramsey had trail coverage. You had to hit him on the money. But had he done it, it would have been another massive touchdown for Babber. We've been able to hit deep the last couple of games, but the very next play, Blatchford makes up for it with a dime to Gabe Davis down the sideline. It wasn't even like that Monte Babber throw was that bad. It was just a tad behind him. But that's all Ramsey needed to get a hand in there. Good throw downfield to Javier Hendricks. And once again, this offense is at its best when Blatchford is going beyond the sticks. He's got good accuracy down there. We've got players that can make plays down there. Underneath, again this time though, but it's incomplete. Ramsey in coverage. That'll bring up second down. Bijan in motion, leaving Blatchford all alone. He's going to get picked off for the second time today. Had one in the first 6 games. 2 today. This time just got caught targeting Jalen Ramsey a little bit too much. I mean, shouldn't be hard to go elsewhere. I mean, what was he even thinking there? Ramsey barely had to move for that pick. Nice job knocking out of the way by Demir Hale there. One of the few plays we're making in the secondary today. He's actually probably been our best corner today. Just in terms of getting his hands on several balls. Ingram there knocks away another. Also liked what I'm seeing from him here in his rookie year. Not saying the linebacker play has been perfect, but it was a big problem for us in year 2, and I feel like Ingram and Simpson have definitely been upgrades for us. If not perfect yet, they're both young and gonna develop, and I just like the position as a whole a lot better than what we had just a season ago. It was one of the positions we needed to kind of revamp altogether, and we did it well here. As the tight end Hill will get it for a gain of a bunch, bringing Miami to the 46. Tua has a man down the seam, but Ingram went in perfect coverage, forces the incompletion. Miami also been very pass heavy. That's just kind of what happens in Madden in these CPU versus CPU games. I wish there was something you could do, some slider. You know, they introduced a lot of new sliders in the game. There was a couple I would add. I would think maybe 4th down aggressiveness, because that one call earlier in the game definitely should have been a go for. The game could implement how often your coach goes for it on 4th down, something like that. I think that would be a cool slider. Also, how often the teams run the ball, because we need to see a little bit more running in these games, if you ask me. Nice play on the sideline there from Spellman, young stud tight end. Here, a handoff to Achane goes for a minimal gain. We're down under 2 minutes left in the third. Miami taking its sweet time here on these drives. Why wouldn't they? They're up by 2 touchdowns. going well under 10 seconds every single time here. And Spellman, I mean, I just had to mention that we were doing a better job against the tight end today than we were last episode. And then I had to be proven wrong. Now he's 5 catches for 58 yards. 1st and 10. Towards the corner of the end zone. It's hauled in by Tyreek Hill. And to make things worse, Jalen Carter was injured on the play. We're getting absolutely smoked. I need to see a touchdown here. Please. How do we have 3 points? I'll tell you why. We've been in scoring range twice when Blatchford threw interceptions. Not only has he thrown 2 picks today, which is something he hasn't been doing all year, but he's been throwing them when we were really close to scoring, and it's just absolutely killed any chance we've had to be in this game so far. Not going to say it's impossible to come back in this game, but it's going to require the offense to look completely different than it has in the first 3 quarters. We need to push the ball downfield more, although this short play works out for us. Throwing in the flash to Hendricks, but that's something that I think will work more than a lot of these other underneath routes. That is his specialty, you know, making stuff happen after the catch. We don't have a lot other than him that really specialize in that, though. There were 3 wide open Thunderbirds on that sideline. How did none of them get the ball there? My goodness. You had 3 options. Just pick one. The other 2 could have been blockers. You threw it right in between all of them where no one could get it, and now it's 3rd and 10. I just don't know how this is the same team we've been watching these last couple episodes. Here he's missing a man again. Blatchford hasn't been sharp. He's made a couple of nice throws for sure, but hasn't been sharp. Now it all hinges on this. 4th and 10. Clean pocket for Blatchford. He's pushing the ball deep. It's caught by Gabe Davis. Wow, what a catch. He was getting interfered with as well. I mean, how could you not love Gabe Davis being our wide receiver 1? He has been such an awesome player for us since we decided to spend our 185 overall spot that we had on our entire team on him. All I can say is I've not been disappointed with that decision. Only needed inches there on 2nd down, and that's about what we got from Max Williams. 1st and goal from the 8. Can we punch in our first touchdown? To give to Robinson. Trying to truck through a man, but the help defense kept him from doing it. So it'll be no gain. 3 tight ends remain on the field for 2nd down. We give to Bijan once more. He finds a lane to cut back and finds his way into the end zone. We finally reach pay dirt. Need a quick stop here defensively, though, if we want any chance to stick in this game. And a 7 to start the drive for Miami. We've only allowed 15 rushing yards, but that's because Miami's rarely run it. And when they have, we've done a pretty good job. 13 rushes for just 22 yards for Achane today. Surprised he doesn't have more attempts, though. Again, it's just a problem with the Madden 24 sim gameplay. Tua. That's a fumble, and we don't get on it. That would have been massive. That would have been so big, and we were a half a second late. Instead, Miami gains extra yardage from the fumble on the play. And is that a 1st down? They'll call it one. Trips formation on the right. 1st and 10 from the 44. Tua over the middle of the field. Has Spellman again. Oh my gosh. We need to find somebody that can guard tight ends. That's the 2nd consecutive episode we have just been abolished, especially considering that Spellman didn't even get going for the first little bit of this game. Tua. And a 9. Things are just looking easy for this Miami passing offense. Kind of wherever Tua wants to throw the ball, it seems like he can do it with relative ease. This time, though, Demir Hill steps up again. Probably been our lone bright spot in that secondary today. 3rd and 1. Into the flat for Bailey. Gets it inside the 10. Tackle on the play by Darrell Ingram. But again, just looked too easy for this passing game. You know, maybe our defensive rankings being to the bottom of the league actually wasn't incorrect, because what I've seen today on really both sides of the ball has been pretty disappointing. I mean, allowing 24 points to this point doesn't seem bad, but we got to remember we did force a fumble when the Dolphins were inside the 10. Could very easily be 31-10 right now. And you got to give the credit, of course, to the defense for forcing that fumble. It's not like Tua just gave us the ball. It was a strip sack by Uche, but just to give a little context, so there's probably one more scoring drive. We almost forced a red zone turnover again. This time Miami falls on it, though, and they'll be forced into the field goal. That's going to make it a 3-score game with under 4 minutes to go. We just didn't bring our best game today to the field against a division rival. And that's unfortunate, because these division rivals are certainly the guys you want to bring your best as much as you can. I think we're going to take a break from that throw it deep game plan. Didn't like how many checkdowns there were early on in this game from it. No touchdowns, 2 picks from a guy who we saw at the beginning of the episode. Started with 15 touchdowns, 1 pick. His 15 touchdowns were leading the league coming into the week, by the way, but I doubt he keeps that lead, having thrown 0 today. Ingram ends up with 12 tackles, and Trenton Simpson, he does get credited for 2 TFLs, so that should be superstar development. A little bit of a happy news here. Oh, he also forced a fumble, so we should definitely get it. A little bit of happy news here to go at the end of what was not a very fun game for the team. I love tight end upgrades. They get so many things. And there you have it. Officially superstar developments for Trenton Simpson. Now in week 8, we got to set our focus scouting for the national region. And I think I'm going to go defensive ends. I think that edge spot next to Uche is one of my main priorities going forward for this team. And I think there are some good end prospects in this draft. Down by 2 scores going into the half here. We'll bring it back to 8, but Denver's really been up by 2 scores for the majority of this game. We bring it back to tie late, but it doesn't matter anyway because Denver scores in overtime. That was a sick 4th quarter comeback, though. Got to give credit where it's due. We just couldn't pull it off in overtime. Defense was probably absolutely gassed by the time overtime came around. But nice rally late from the offense, for sure. But we fall to 500 with this loss after really looking good. I had a lot of confidence in this year 3 squad, but maybe we're more kind of that borderline playoff team than I thought we were heading into the season. 2 more interceptions for Blatchford, so he goes from 1 interception on the year to 5. Only 6 rushing attempts for Bijan all game. We were down by a lot most of the time, so it's not, you can't hit on it too much, but he still ended up with 97 yards despite the low volume. Hendricks led us in receiving today. That's the first time I think he's done that this year. UTFLs, sacks for Gross-Matos and Fleming. You love to see it. Like seeing one of our UDFAs produce a pick for a new superstar, Simpson. And now we'll end off the episode with some upgrades. Not a great episode for us, going 0-2, but I always like getting to end off maybe a bad episode with some upgrades, because even though we might not be where we want to be quite just yet, this shows that we're getting there. We're getting some improvements, and that's the really important part. +3 release, +3 medium route for Monte Babber is an insanely good upgrade for him. Gross-Matos, run stopper, archetype is what we'll upgrade here. Decent upgrade, I suppose. And Glenn Bush. I've really been upgrading him to be a just true run stopper, but I think +3 power moves could be something that could benefit him. He's up to 67 now, so still not great, but getting better for sure. Simpson, +1 zone coverage. He has recuperation. Probably not going to keep it, but until you get 80 overall, you don't have a lot of options, so we'll leave it there for now. Going to help Bijan be a better receiving back. +2 catching, +1 short route is pretty good. He's already just an insane running back, so maybe help him be a better receiver, though he's already pretty good at that as well. And that's all I've got for this episode. Unfortunately, going 0-2, but hopefully we can bounce back in the next one. And until then, go Thunderbirds.